everybody, Prowl here, and I have cooked a great tutorial here for you today. I have designed a brand new general mob farm. It is way faster than anything that I have designed or made before, and I have made it in 3 different sizes for you, and I will be doing the tutorial for all 3 of them all together at the same time right here for you. The 3 different options are going to be your 2x2, your 4x4, and your 6x6 design. The 2x2 design will get you up to 3,540 drops per hour, including 562 gunpowder. The 4x4 design over doubles that at 8,205 total items per hour, including up to 1,410 gunpowder. And the 6x6 design, getting you over 10,000 drops per hour, will include up to 1,880 gunpowder. To make this farm run as fast and efficiently as possible, I've done things like remove spider spawns because they slow down these farms a lot, and optimized how quickly the mobs drop off of the platforms and eventually get flushed down into the Trident Killers to kill them. These designs do require the use of a Trident Killer, although for the 2x2 design, you could get away without one and killing them manually if you like. But the Trident Killer is intended to make it so you can kill all of the mobs, especially on the ones that require multiple Trident Killers or multiple drop chutes in which to work. And while holding out the Looting 3 sword, the Tridents will give you a player kill, meaning that you do get the looting effect from the farm, making the farm faster than it would be without one. On the farms with multiple Trident Killers are indeed needed. Otherwise, the farm speed is slowed down significantly because of how long it takes for the mobs to travel to the drop chamber. Also, the farm starts to become too fast for a single Trident Killer to keep up with. And we do have multiple storage systems being used here for these different designs as well. Although you could plug in any sort of storage system and any Trident Killer you want into this type of design. I will detail out for you which blocks are needed and which blocks aren't. For example, the tinted glass is not needed on the walls in the farm. This was done for the tutorial design to be able to show you the farm more easily, but the tinted glass on the roof is recommended, although I do present you a couple alternatives as well. I spent a lot of time designing, testing, optimizing, retesting, and then finally making this tutorial. So if you enjoy these types of videos, you like these tutorials, please make sure to help support the channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. Most of you are not subscribed to the channel, so subscribing to the channel helps out tremendously, and pressing the like button is greatly appreciated, as the more people that like the video, the more people that YouTube pushes the video out to. Finally, if you ever have any issues with any of my farms and building them, or in them working or breaking, or maybe wanting to modify them to make them better for your personal uses, while I try to keep up with comments as best as I can, the best place to get any kind of support for any of my farms or just be a part of our Bedrock community in general is to join my Discord channel at discord.gg/prowl8413. That's enough of yapping. Let's start making the farms. All right, so as we get started here, my goal is just to make this thing as easy as possible for you guys to build in survival. I'm going to be simultaneously showing you how to build all 3 sizes of this farm, and I think as we go through, it'll kind of make sense how I'm doing this for you to pick which one of the farms that it is that you want to do, because they're all the same farm. The farm just gets larger in size. Next thing is, you can build this anywhere you want in the overworld, as long as the distances that I tell you are the same. It doesn't matter if you build this over an ocean, and you can't really build this thing underground unless you do a lot of spawn proofing, so I would normally recommend against it, but that part I will leave up to you. Now, the first thing you're going to want to make sure of is that you are at least 44 blocks away from any other blocks in the game. So we're going to build up 44 blocks in the air. Now, you need to make sure this area up here is at least 44 blocks away from everything. So you can't just build 44 blocks in the air and you have a big hill right beside you. You have to be 44 blocks away or more from anything. and being more blocks away is always better. So go at least 44 blocks, and that is if you're playing on Simulation Distance 4, which is going to be the vast majority of you. If you don't know what simulation distance you play on, then you play on Simulation Distance 4. If you play on Simulation Distance 6, it needs to be 96 blocks, and if you're playing on Simulation Distance 8 or higher, it needs to be 128 blocks. At this point where you have pillared up to, mark the center spot, okay? You want to mark the center spot. Now, you're going to make a platform that is going to correspond with the size of the farm that you want. Also, you want to make sure that no light can pass through, so you need to have solid blocks. And don't forget to place down torches on your platforms to make sure that mobs don't unwantingly spawn on them. So if you're going to do the 2x2 size farm, your platform needs to be 11 blocks by 11 blocks, meaning you count 5 blocks out from the center in each direction and fill that area in. The 4x4 platform design will require a platform that is 25 blocks wide in each direction, meaning that you are going to go 12 blocks out from that center block in each direction. And finally, the largest, the 6x6 platform farm, that one is going to require a platform that goes 39 blocks by 39 blocks across, meaning you need to count 19 blocks out in each direction from the center block and fill that area in. Next, you're going to want to count up another 9 blocks from here, and then you're going to make the exact same platform here that you made right there. Now we're going to make a third platform 20 blocks up from our center point here. Once you've gone up your 20 blocks, you're going to go an extra 2 blocks out in each direction based on how large your bottom platform is, meaning that we're going to go out 7 blocks in each direction on the 2x2 farm size, 14 blocks in each direction on the 4x4 farm size. And we're going to go 21 blocks out in each direction on the 6x6 farm size. Before we continue, a message from today's sponsor, whose computer chairs I highly recommend, eWin. So I first partnered with eWin in mid-2023, where I built and used one of their Champion Series gaming chairs. And I've now been using the same chair, which by my live streams is known as Chairzard, for over 15 months now. And I've been so incredibly happy with it that I decided to reach out to them again. On top of being a great chair to sit in, it's also actually incredibly easy to build. They come mostly pre-assembled, and you'll also notice that while you're building your chair, the chair is pretty heavy. You can tell it's made out of sturdy, high-quality materials, and with now thousands of hours in the chair that I'm sitting in currently, I can comfortably say that the quality of materials shows in its durability and lack of any visible wear and tear, and you can adjust practically everything with these chairs. The Champion Series allows you to do the normal up and down adjustment. You can tilt the seat backwards and forwards. You can recline the seat all the way back, and the arms will go up and down, in and out, side to side, forward and backwards. They even do this like twisting in and out. There's like a full range of options to get it to be comfortable for you and customize the way that fits your seating position and your preference the best. To start shopping for your eWin gaming chair, click on my link in the description below and browse through the Champion Series chairs to pick the style and color that you like the most, or use the menus at the top of the page to browse through their other products that they have available. Once you find your new chair and add it to your cart, use discount code PROWL8413 that will get you 20% off of your purchase and enjoy your new comfortable gaming chair. The next part that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a little ring barrier. This is going to be our outer wall of our farm around the platform here. So we're going to just simply go around and surround our platform no matter what size farm you're doing. The next portion is going to differ a little bit from size to size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this ring around all the size farms, and then I'm going to show you how you have to do your water flow, because it is going to be slightly different between the different farms. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and set up our water flow now, so that way we know exactly where our Trident Killers need to go, and we can put those in. You want to put in the Trident Killers before you start building the farm layers, because as you start building those farm layers, mobs are going to start spawning and falling down, and it's better for them to be able to fall down into some kind of chamber that's not going to blow you up and kill you, basically. So here's what we want to do. We need to pick a 2x2 center, a 4-block center. It doesn't really matter where it goes here as long as one of the center spots touches this right here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 4 fence gates right here, just like this. And I'm going to knock out these 4 blocks. I am also going to knock out all of this ring of blocks around here. And you will need to be able to get underneath here for just a moment. You're going to want to add in a ring below, looking just like this. Now, you're going to want to take grindstones and you're going to want to place a grindstone on each one of these spots. These grindstones keep mobs from hanging over on the edge before they fall down, and it increases the rate of the farm. During my testing, what I found was skeletons especially, but zombies too, is they would get to this little corner right here, and they would hang on here sometimes 5 to 10 seconds before they finally decided to drop. And grindstones is the only block I could find that didn't do that. I tried stairs, I tried slabs, I tried a lot of different methods. Maybe there's other things out there that work, but grindstones is what worked for me. So that's what I'm going to tell you is the definitive thing that you need to use. Next, once you have that set up, you can now set up water in your corners. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a little block right here. I'm going to use tinted glass right here. This is just for aesthetics of the farm, so you guys can see things from the outside end as I build things. But again, you can use any solid blocks here is fine. Each corner, I'm going to do this right here. And then in each of those corners, you can go ahead and place a water source down, and then you can place water sources all the way across all of these sides. Now, here's a word of caution. If you are doing this in an area where water can freeze into ice, you need to keep that from happening while you build up the rest of your farm. The problem should solve itself in the end, but right now it won't. So if you're doing this in an area where water will freeze to ice, which is going to be almost any cold biome, you need to put solid blocks over top of all these water sources for now. I'm going to recommend that you go about 40 blocks up from here, so that way these blocks don't get in the way. And then you're just going to make a little ring of blocks that go all the way around directly over top of all of the water source blocks. Now you will not have to worry about the water freezing. Also, if you're doing this over an ocean biome, drowned will spawn in these spots right here, and they will probably slow your farm down some. So if you're doing this over an ocean, I recommend that you keep these solid blocks up here permanently, and we will build them into the roof of the farm. If you're not over an ocean, then that part doesn't matter. If you're not in a cold biome, then that part doesn't matter either. Now that's how we did things for the 2x2 size farm. When you move over to the 4x4 size farm, it's only slightly different. You're going to want to place a row of blocks going across your center, just like this. You can cover up that center block. Now here, we're going to do something similar to what we did over there. You're going to place the water down the exact same way and build the corners the exact same way and do the center the exact same way. But we're going to place our water first. So I'm going to do the same deal here, but on these like middle sections, I'm going to have to treat these a little bit differently. I'm going to build up my barrier wall that goes across here. We're going to end up building this up anyways. It's going to be part of the outer wall of the farm regardless. And then I'm still going to do this number right here. So you should have that same little L-shaped design in all of the corners. Do it on the inner corners as well. Go ahead and place a water source here, a water source here at all four ends. Across the middle and all of the blocks that are exposed, go ahead and place water sources in all of those. And then in all of your outer wall areas, go ahead like we did over there and place a water source here and then place water sources across the outer walls there. Now, just like you did over there, anywhere where you have a water source, you will need to place a block above it if you are in a cold biome so the water doesn't freeze, or if you want to stop drown from spawning in an ocean biome. But now we have ourselves a center on 4 blocks. Just like we did over there, we can go ahead and set up the little drop area exactly the same as we did before. Okay, so that's what your drop area should look like if you are doing the 4x4 size farm. Finally, if you're doing the 6x6 size farm, it's not going to be a lot different, but you're going to want to go on the inside here. You're going to count in 15 blocks from each corner. On that 15th block, place a block there. Do that, counting each way from each corner. So now when complete, from all of the outer edges of the farm to the block that we have placed down is a 14 block gap between them. And then the gap in the center between the 2 blocks is 13 blocks in between them. Now you're just going to want to go ahead and connect all of those lines up. So you should end up with a tic-tac-toe looking board right here. Now the same thing you did here to fill in all the water, just do the same thing here. And this is what you should end up with when all of your water is in. Now, what you're going to notice here is that some of them don't come to perfect center spots. It's just because of the size of the farm. It's just how it works out. But we're going to build the exact same drop chambers over here that we did in the other ones, lining it up on the 6x6 size farm. It's actually really easy to do. Start from your corners where we meet in the middle like this of 4 blocks. We're just going to go ahead and block those off like that. And we want to do all of our corners first. So we're going to go up to this one, and this one. Now we just want to make sure that we line up all of our side ones the same way, because you see the water doesn't line up exactly. So you have to choose to either go left or right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go left here, I guess. Same thing right here. We go left here, and same thing right here. We're going to go left here, and you can see everything lines up together. And then we have to do the same thing right here. We're going to line up this way and line up this way. So you see, if I put these guys right here just like that, it goes in line with this, and it goes in line with this. That should be your starting point, and this right here should be your ending point. Now we can move down to the Trident Killers. Okay, so every Trident Killer, no matter what farm you do, no matter where you put it, is going to be exactly the same. So I'm only going to have to show you this once. You're going to want to come directly under the center of the little drop chute area, which is these 4 blocks, for the center of the farm only. So whether it be the center of this farm, which only has 1 Trident Killer, this farm right here with 4 Trident Killers won't matter. And the 6x6 farm, you'll want to do it the same way, where you find the center and you mark out only those 3 blocks at first. You want to place down mud blocks there, because we could just take the items from underneath the mud blocks with hoppers. It makes it super easy. Looking out from your center diamond block that we've left in there for now, you're going to want to take a piston and place it on the right hand side and do that facing in each direction. You're going to want to temporarily knock out these floor blocks between all of the pistons. You're going to want to place down observers, which can be tricky. I recommend that you just jump on top of the piston, face the 2 block direction, get as far back to the corner as you can while still selecting the mud block, and place it down. And you should have your observer looking at the little hole area here. For now, you can just place a slab right here. And then now you can replace that center block with a mud block. Next, you want to actually get down below all of this, and you're going to want to put a block right here covering up the hole on each one of these sides. Inside of each one of these holes, you're going to want to put down a piece of redstone dust. You can now see the Trident Killer is moving. It is working. I'm going to give you a way to shut it off here in a second. Go ahead and put down solid blocks around the rest of this area right here. And then this is going to be our AFK spot right beside where the center diamond block was, as close as we can possibly get to it anyways, on the 2x2 and the 6x6 farm. Place a lever right here, and this will allow you to turn the Trident Killer on and off. You can now connect the bottom to the top in whichever way you think looks the best. Now, I use tinted glass for mine here, just so you guys can easily see what's going on with the farm as I show you more things. Don't use regular glass here, because if you have any kind of lights up higher, it may stop your farm from spawning on the bottom layers. Tinted glass is fine. Any solid blocks is fine here as well. You are going to want to be able to get 2 tridents inside of here. So you can just kind of stand back a little ways and go ahead and throw 2 in. And then your pistons will move those tridents around, and that completes your Trident Killer. Now we're going to want to set up our storage really quick. There are a couple of important things you're going to need here, because you will very quickly overflow your storage with armor and weapon drops from skeletons and from zombies. Okay, I have an example here of a storage system for you, and I want to point out the most important part of this, which is the trash can system that filters out non-stackable items. Things like armor, weapons, bows, like those types of things are dropped very frequently from a general mob farm. And when they're dropped, they take up a whole slot in a chest. So if you do not filter them out, or you do not have some other system to like smelt them or whatever, they will fill up all your chests. My favorite solution is just a simple trash can. This is what a trash can is. You have a hopper line underneath the farm. You have 4 hoppers. These are directly underneath the mud blocks here. We can have this one just face down into this hopper line here, and the other ones can just face into here. As long as they all make their way to that one hopper, that's all we need. All of the items then come to here, and they work their way down a line. Now, once they get to this part of the line right here, this little system right here will filter out any non-stackable items. You have the comparators up here in line with the hopper line, and this is it. This is a total configuration. So what will happen is, as your swords and armor and stuff go down, the swords, armor, bows, those will get brought downwards into these 2 hoppers. We have 2 of these filters to make sure nothing gets by. So we want to make sure we capture all of it. The items will go down into these hoppers here, and then these hoppers below those hoppers will pull those items down and out. And then this hopper pushes into this one. So all of the swords and stuff will all end up in this one hopper that then goes into this dropper. And you can't see the face of the dropper because it's pointing into this lava right here. And we have a simple clock hooked up to that comparator coming out into a repeater, and then the redstone loops around. So anything that goes in here, whether it's a stackable or a non-stackable item, it sets the system off and it throws that into the trash can and destroys it. Anything else will then make its way down here and then go into these chests. Now you can create separate item sorters for all of the different items, or you can just let those individual items fill up all of the chests here. I like the item sorter route because you get so many different items. I think it makes things a lot cleaner. Now this is for the 2x2 farm. The 4x4 farm and the 6x6 farm work pretty much the same way. This is the exact same setup here. The only difference is underneath the one Trident Killer, I just simply have those hoppers running straight down, all pointing into this Trident Killer's hoppers. They just work their way down. Same thing for the 6x6 platform. As you can see, all the hoppers just work their way down to the exact same system. Now, we have separate storage systems for this line and this line. We have separate storage systems for these three lines right here, because this farm is so fast that if you try to combine the storage any more than this, your farm is going to overload with items, and items are going to end up sitting up here because the hoppers below cannot take them down fast enough. I'm going to upgrade these two item sorter systems, and I'll be right back. Just to show you what a item sorter version of this would look like, I have added an item sorter here. It's the same redstone there, just one block lower. We have the first slot reserved for gunpowder, the second for bones, the third for arrows, the fourth and the fifth for rotten flesh. We then have 3 rows with no sorter because you have a lot of other miscellaneous items that will drop. And I put another trash can at the very end because we want to make sure our system is protected from overflow. And you really need these in both areas, because if you don't do it that way, then what you'll end up with is all of your non-stackables end up in these unsorted chests, taking up all of their space. It is the exact same thing for the 4x4 and the 6x6 farm. There's literally nothing different about it except that there's 2 and 3 of them. Okay, so the next step is the fun step, and that's the platforms. You can start all the farms out, all the sizes, the exact same way. It doesn't matter. Go to a corner of your farm, go from this block right here, and count up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blocks. You can get rid of those other 4, and you may do a funky thing to your water like this. If you did, just block off the water in the corners, open it back up, you're good to go. Now get up on top of this block right here, and then I think I'm going to change this to this color block for you guys. And then you want to make a 6x6 platform. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and go ahead and fill that guy in. I would recommend, just to make it easy, as you go, fill in the walls around you too. Now, what you want to do is skip a block, and you want to make another platform, and you're going to have a total of 4 of them fit perfectly in here. Next, you're going to want to use coral fans. Coral fans are a little bit of a pain in the butt. Once you find a coral reef, you're going to want to use a silk touch tool to get all of the coral fans that you can find. And if you become unable to find any more, you can just bone meal the coral blocks to generate more coral fans. And for the record, no, you cannot use anything else here. You can't use trapdoors because the mobs will get stuck on it as they fall down. You can't use buttons. That's not a thing. That doesn't work. You have to use coral fans. There is nothing else, I promise you. And what you're going to want to do is just go around and fill in all of the coral fans all around the outside, just like this, and fill in the inside as well. What does this do, you may wonder? The mobs think it's a full block, so they actually try to walk on it, and they just fall down in the middle. That's all it is. They think it's a block, so they try to path over here somewhere, and they fall down. It's that easy. Mojang even knows about this. They intentionally did not remove it because they know how it's used in the game, so this is a accepted feature in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Next, you're going to want to make 2 tall pillars just like this. When you have these 4 pillars set up like this, spiders cannot spawn anywhere. Now, if you want string, you want spider eyes, you're not going to rely on this farm to get it, because spiders slow down farms significantly because they like to climb and they're a pain in the butt to deal with. So rather than deal with them, we're going to speed up everything else at the farm by just making it so spiders cannot spawn in. Once you get done with a layer like this, you're going to want to continue upwards, and you're going to go up a certain number of layers. For the 2x2 farm, you can go up 7 layers. For the 4x4 farm, you can go up 6 layers. And for the 6x6 farm, you can go up 5 layers. You fill in all of these other farms just the exact same as you do this one, and everything will line up perfectly with these lines that we've made in the water streams. So go through and fill in all of your layers of all of your farm now. This is what your 4x4 platform model would look like. And then obviously the 6x6 model platform will come out looking similar to this, just with more platforms. Okay, now based on which farm you're doing, go up the 7 here, the 6 here, or the 5 there. If you are playing on simulation distance 6 or higher, you can increase the rates of all of these farms, especially on the bigger ones, if you make them taller. So this guy right here is 6 layers. This guy right here is 5 layers. I would make either one of these as tall as about 10 layers high. It will slightly increase the rates of your farm, especially this one right here. This guy right here is so incredibly fast. It's hard for it to even keep up with the number of mobs that are spawning already. So you'll get a little bit of a rate increase on this one. You'll get a decent rate increase on this one. You'll get a lot of a rate increase on this guy right here. All right, so now with all your layers done, you want to finish the ceiling, and the ceiling is very, very important here actually. So first of all, if you're trying to make sure you don't get any drown spawns, you can go through and cover the inner ring with solid blocks that will keep drown from spawning. Otherwise, you just want to go ahead and use tinted glass, and you do specifically and only need to use tinted glass. You do not want to use any other block here. The reason why is because tinted glass allows this top layer to be surface spawns. These surface spawns do help increase the overall speed of the farm, and that speed increase is greater and greater the larger size your farm is. I don't want to get into how all the spawning works on Bedrock Edition, but essentially you have a different cap of mobs for the surface, and we do want to take advantage of that. You cannot use slabs, you cannot use regular glass, you cannot use anything else except for this, or you can use like multiple layers of leaves, or I think there's a way that you can use like leaves with certain number of layers of water inside of it. So there's technically a couple of options available, but tinted glass is going to be the easiest method to use. I do have a guide video on finding and farming amethyst geodes. I do recommend you check that out. And once you get the top layer of the tinted glass filled in, you do want to go in on all of your solid blocks here and put buttons so mobs cannot spawn on top of here. You could also put slabs up here or carpet or other things that block spawns as well. Buttons are usually pretty easy to do though. Now, an extra note for the larger size farms, anywhere that you have water sources set up, so like across the middle here, you're also going to want to cover those over because drown can spawn there too if you want to keep drown from spawning. And then go ahead and fill that interior area with the tinted glass. Once you have all of that done, you should start having mobs spawn in and start to drop down. You're going to want to make sure you have a looting 3 sword in your hand and go ahead and turn it on, and you're going to start collecting a lot of loot. Now, if you stand by the opening of any of these, you will get the XP from those drops. I did not set up the other ones for you to collect the XP from all of them. So if you want to do that, you may want to look up a Trident Killer design that allows you to funnel all of the loot and to funnel all of the XP to one area. But as you can see, this thing is working. Now, for the larger ones with multiple Trident Killers, you're either going to have to go through and turn them all on individually, or you could set up redstone to where you could have one lever to turn all of them on. But again, here we would stand on the center block right here because this is the area in which all of the spawning spots are accessible. We stand right here only. And then finally on the 6x6, you'll just want to stand right here by the center one. This will be the closest to center you can get on this farm and the way in which this one is designed to work. If you wanted to run everything to one lever, that's really easy. Go ahead and put a lever, somewhere like right here, then run redstone dust, do something like this right here, run the redstone dust out to here. You do need to run a repeater directly into this block and directly into this block. We do not have enough power coming here, so every time you run out of power, you want to go through and add in a repeater. It's quite simple. You just do this to all of the Trident Killers, and this will keep them all turned off or on from one switch. And that should be it. Now you only need to decide what size you're going to build, the 2x2, 4x4, or 6x6 version of the farm. Let me know how this works for you. I'm curious to see who is using it and how much you're liking it. This is definitely one of my favorite farms I've ever made. It is absolutely awesome. If you enjoyed this tutorial, it helps out the channel a ton to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. So make sure that you do those for me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.